Your second half performance there, I think you were 2 for 10 going into the half. What was your mentality in the second half, and how big a win is this for you guys?
First off, it was a big win for us, but we're not done yet. Coach stressed that just now in the locker room. But my teammates did a good job staying with me. Just say, shoot the ball. You're a shooter, shoot it. And Dom was one of them. He stayed in my head the whole game. We pulled it out. You have a question?
Questions?
Michael Scott of the Associated Press. D'Angelo, on the 4-point play, can you take us through that? You kind of dove for the ball and saved it from going out of bounds and went to the corner for the three. What did you see on the play?
I saw the ball go in the basket, and those kind of plays is with St. John's basketball right there. A lot of energy, brought a lot of energy to the game. Big play in the game. We pulled it out. So credit everybody. Team win today.
For both players, you're in the first half. You guys just didn't really do much of a job on defense on the perimeter, and then it seemed like you made all the defensive plays in the second half. Can you guys tell us what the message was at halftime, or whether you guys spoke among yourselves? Where did that come from?
It's time for us to grow up. We've been here for 4 years, and I feel that we had a good team this year. So it's time for us to grow up and come together. The first half, we play like little kids, let them get wide open shots, we missed defensive assignments. Second half, we just said it's time to man up, and that's what happened. We got in them, we stayed together, and we came back.
Coach, stressed defense, and then, like Dom said, it was time to get it done, and we did a good job of that. I don't know what they shot in the second half, but I know it wasn't even close to what they did in the first half. So, team win. We did it on the defensive end. We're a defensive team.
For Dom, did you feel like it was just a matter of toughness in the second half, the way you came out and provided energy and made steals and dunks, particularly in that opening stretch? Was that just your toughness? Did you feel like toughness made the difference?
That's me in a nutshell. Point blank period. That's what I get the team excited, I get the crowd excited. That's what my team expects from me. I'm not a 40-point night guy, but I'm just an all-purpose guy. I do what the team needs.
We have here and then
What's the question for Coach?
Wait for the mic, please. No, we're going players first,
Okay.
please.
Yeah, sorry, you said D'Angelo, you're not done yet. Just going into Friday for both you guys, what's your mentality, and you have a chance to maybe play the number 10 team in the country? How big a win could that potentially be?
Oh man, we're gonna probably watch a little bit of the game, get rest, take a day, not a day off, but get your mind right. Thanksgiving, enjoy that day. It'll be a team, chemistry day. But then it's gonna be a big game Friday. We're gonna lock in. We gotta flush this game. They were that kind of team, flush games. We can't dwell on it. Can't dwell that we won. It was a great win. And we gotta get ready for the winner of this game.
John, can you answer that too?
Like I said, it's a great opportunity. Our next game is always our biggest game, so no matter who we play, we got a chance to bring NIT championship home, and that's the goal right now. Fun lane period, get some rest, and come out Friday ready to play.
For D, you basically talked the other day that it wasn't an option to lose tonight, that you guys had worked in the past and things were different. Was there a different mentality? Did things feel different coming in tonight just because of the urgency? You talked about it that it was going to be one of the biggest games of your career.
Second half, it was St. John's basketball. That's us. Same in the second half. First half, we let shooters get open, we let guys get open. Guys that were on the scouting point circle, they were scoring. So, and then second half, Coach talked to us, and we talked as a senior group, and it was time to win the game. It got to the point where it was time to win the game, and then we did what we had to do to win the game at the end. Got to make free throws though too. A lot of free throws.
Question for Dom. Dom, you had a stretch where you sort of helped the team get back in the game. You had a steal and an assist, and then you had a blocked shot, and you had a steal and dunk. When you have those things going on, what's it like for you when all of a sudden you're making all the big plays?
It's exciting, I feel I'm a team player, so just point blank period, getting my team excited and a good win and come back. That's what I live for, just the moment. It feels very great, you know, just to help the team win.
For both D'Angelo and Dom, 16 steals tonight. You guys forced 20 turnovers as well. Was there a little, maybe coming into tonight's game against a very good shooting team, some extra preparation to be very extra aggressive, kind of handsy out there, force some turnovers?
You know, that's sitting down basketball, pressure, point blank period. We try to go out and pressure everybody every night. With them, you know, sometimes you got to be teams with their own game. You know, they came out, pressured us, you know, and we did the same thing. So they turned us over a couple of times. We turned them over, I think, a little more. But hey, we got the win. That's all that matters.
Okay, last question for the players, please.
D, why do you think you guys were so much of a better team tonight than you've been any other day this season?
We grew up. This was, Dom said it perfectly. You know, we said it all week. You know, this was one of the biggest games of our careers, and you know, we showed it in the second half. So, when we put two halves together the way we did in the second half, it's gonna be even harder, harder matchups for everybody because Dom's playing the floor. It's not like guys can guard Dom at the floor.
Lav, I know it's early November, but considering coming from behind against a quality opponent, did you see anything different in the resolve for this group, maybe that they were in this situation now versus the past 2 years?
What I shared after the game with the kids, with the group, with the team, was the fact it was clearly a total team victory. You know, sometimes in coaching we use platitudes or cliches, they call it coach speak, and it's not really accurate. And this was a game. It was a total team victory, and so that's what stood out to me. You could feel it in the huddles. You know, you could feel it on our bench, even with our reserves, our manager, Father Rock, the staff. People were locked in, and so that is what stood out to me. And I thought as a group, they really lost themselves to the game, to defense, to the front of the jersey, St. John's. And there was a sense that it was just a very cohesive, well-knit unit that was playing in concert together. And that's who we have to be if we're going to have a special season. And I share with them one of John Wooden's favorite quotes: "It's amazing what can get accomplished when no one cares who gets the credit." And I thought this was a selfless team, a selfless effort tonight.
Kenny Garner, Rumble in the Garden. Rashid Jordan's really starting to look more comfortable. What's changed for him from last year to this year?
It's interesting. I don't want to disagree just to be disagreeable, but I felt that Rashid really struggled tonight to find his rhythm. And
I thought he was a little more aggressive, though.
yeah, I mean, again, that's why I didn't want to. I'm not saying this, but I also just don't want to agree with you because I don't feel that way. So I'm just trying to share. I thought tonight he did some good things. Rashid is a gifted basketball player, so over the course of 40 minutes, he will show some flashes of brilliance. But I would say, on the whole, when I look at tonight's body of work, while he did some good things, he clearly was not the Rashid Jordan that we know he's capable of being. There were some forced shots, some defensive breakdowns, missed free throws, the visible frustration, which is a waste of emotional fuel or energy. We can't afford to get into that funk where you relive a mistake or a missed free throw 3 or 4 times while you're pouting. We got to get to the next play, be in the present to compete against the best competition in the country. So, but I would say, to agree with you on one, I think he's more comfortable this year than he was last year. That is clear, based on his body of work in the first 4 games. But I thought tonight, when we watched game film and when I was pulling him aside, that's not the Rashid Jordan that we recruited, and it's not the Rashid Jordan that we know he's capable of being.
Coach, hi, Andy Lipton from Slam. Very meaningful win. Just tactically, though, first half you go zone. Is that because of their size?
Combination. One is we're trying to keep Chris O'Beck out of foul trouble. So everything we do, offensively, defensively, you know, and in the foul situation, is with how to keep Chris O'Beck out of foul trouble. And so, you know, if we can buy time over the course of the game by playing some zone and having him at the rim, kind of like a goalie in hockey or soccer, and then in the second half, we know if we get to the late stages of the game, we can turn it up, play with all-out aggression, and he has a little more room there. If he commits a foul or two, it's not going to turn the entire game against us, you know. So that's why we like to press and then fall back into that matchup zone. But we weren't alert in our coverages. We had poor shooter awareness, you know, because man or zone, you have to know where the best shooter is, and you do that through communicating and through pointing, you know, both nonverbal and verbal communication. The nonverbal is the pointing, you know, I got ball, and here's the best shooter over here in the corner, and then talking, you know, just verbally, the communication, the glue to defense. So we, in the first half, you know, whether it was zone or man, we were not as alert or as aggressive and on our assignments in terms of knowing where their shooters were. In the second half, you know, we went man the entire half. And also, the zone allows us at times to conserve a little bit of energy because we have a shorter bench. We're trying to develop our 7th, 8th, and 9th man. But those players have to produce in practice to earn minutes in the game. And when they get some minutes in the game, they have to deliver, you know, or we're not going to be able to build out our bench and have the type of depth we want. So tactically, the zone is a way to buy some time, keep Chris O'Beck out of foul trouble, conserve some fuel with this shorter bench.
You know, Steve, it's only November, but just in terms of building your resume for where you want to go, how important is this and a chance on Friday to maybe play a top 10 team?
You know, we talk in the locker room about not getting too carried away with ourselves. I'm a big believer that you can't, you know, be in the peaks or valleys emotionally, not just in basketball, but in life. And that's easier said than done. But that really is the key, staying on the path of progress, you know, incrementally getting better, which this group has done throughout their career. I think tonight is another example of a breakthrough. But we have to remain focused on the task at hand, which is to get a win here Friday. And it would be the first championship for this group in terms of, you know, get some hardware, cut down some nets, bring the championship back to campus in Queens. And this group is deserving of doing some special things this year. And, you know, Friday's another big game, but regardless of the outcome, we got to stay on the path of progress and get ready for the next one. And that's what the journey of a season is about. And so we're careful, you know, to not get too high after a win or get too down after a loss. And that's for the fans and the media and others to do. As a staff, as a head coach, and as a group of young men, we just have to keep growing because there's going to be some highs and lows over the course of a season like this. But I thought this was a step in the right direction.
Steve, in terms of Dom's statement about, like, they grew up today,
Sure.
how exactly did they grow up today?
You know, I think we've got some media savvy kids. They've been in New York for 3+ years now. So they have a flair for the dramatic. You know, I think there was some maturity on display in the second half, and you'd rather see that than not. So that was a plus. It's something we can build on. But if we don't come out and play well on Friday, then we'll be in here after the game answering questions about what happened to the maturity, what happened to growing up. You know, so, you know, again, but that's okay, young people. I enjoy my work. I couldn't have better company than this group of players to spend time with. They're really special. But, you know, I just think that we played with great effort, and we played together, and we lost ourselves to the cause, the front of the jersey, St. John's, a victory for St. John's. There was no focus on the individual. And when there was, you know, we were able to nip it in the bud. And I think the kids helped one another to get out of a funk after D'Angelo missed 2 free throws or you know, something didn't go well for us. I thought their communication with each other to get back into the present and to be focused on the task at hand was the area that I was most impressed with. That and our defense in the second half was smothering, was stifling. 25% against a good Minnesota team is a really solid half of defense.